We also have with us today Shri Sriram Kulkarni, National Media and Public Relations in charge, Akhil Bharatiya Vidyarthi Parishad. Ajay Thakurji, State Organizing Secretary. Saket Bahugunaji, National Media Convener. Ganeshji Turerao, National Co-Convener, Think India. Professor Sawan Suman from IIT Delhi. Professor Manand Dwivedi from Institute of Public Administration. And Ms. June D'Souza from Delhi University. Dr. Swamy will be speaking on the topic Defender of Justice. You know, in my opinion, India has been the cradle of world civilization for many, many years. Thousands of years before Magna Carta, we already had the concept of justice and equality. It was already enshrined in the Vedas and Upanishads. For all these years, while we were taking these Western concepts, if only we looked into ourselves and our nation, we would have found an answer and we would have been in a better position today. That is the greatness of our nation, Bharat. And maybe this is why, you know, I recollect an incident from Ramayana when Lord Ram was victorious. Vibhishana asked him that, Lord, now that you are victorious, why don't you stake claim to the golden throne of Lanka? To which Lord Ram replied, Janani Janma Bhumischa Swargadapi Gariyasi, which means that my motherland, my mother, is so beautiful that it is greater than all the heavens human beings seek to achieve. So, such is the greatness of our nation. So without any further delay, I would request Dr. Swamy to address the gathering. Thank you.
Then I'll sit down.
Yes.
Well, thank you very much. And wish to congratulate you that you are thinking in terms of defending justice, or fighting for justice, because that is the essence of democracy. And those trained in law, it is your special responsibility, not only to earn your fees and show your prowess in courts, but to make people feel that they can come to you to get justice. Now, dharma is duty, and nyaya is rights. And in our constitution, we got both. Dharma is represented by the fundamental duties. They are governance principles. They are not individual requirement that you didn't perform the duty so you can be prosecuted. That is not the concept. But that the government of the day in its governance will promote the psyche of performing duty, to be clean, to see that people don't disturb other people, misbehave with women. All these are part of duties. It's listed there in Article 51. Now, the law, the nyaya or the law, the rights, they are enshrined in the fundamental rights. And in the fundamental rights, there is no absolute right at all. It is subject to reasonable restrictions. In the old days, the justice used to be dispensed essentially at the panchayat level. Everybody knew everybody. And when you committed a crime, the whole society knew of that village or the group of villages. And then the panchayat of 5 people would sit and deliberate and then pass a judgment. So the justice dispensation in our ancient India was immediate. And consequently, this centralization of our society has led to these multiple tiers of law and as a consequence procedures and therefore delays. But modern society, this is inevitable. You can't go back to the panchayat system, except that you can have the panchayat system as a part. Below the magistrate you can have panchayats also, and there you have in many places conciliation systems which are based on the panchayat. So I would say that we have to both move forward and backwards, because there are many good things that have passed which we don't even know about. For example, today the principle of arguments in a court is based on what is called as the Maxwell principles. What is evidence, what is not evidence, what is proof, what is not proof, what is beyond reasonable doubt. These are all based on what is called the Maxwell principles, which the British imposed on us. We had a law system before the British destroyed it and the Mughals partly destroyed it, and that was called the Mimamsa principles. The Mimamsa principles was devised by Jaimini, and the logic by which you reach a conclusion is totally different and much more complex. You are much likely to make an error and less likely to make an error. In 2007, in the case of the UP warehouse, I don't know whether it was called the UP warehouse, it was in, UP State Agro Industrial Limited versus the Union of India. The Supreme Court of a bench of Kharju and Ganguly, and essentially written by Ganguly, gave a long description of the Jaimini principles, the Mimamsa principles rather of Jaimini, to replace the Maxwell principles. But there have been no takers. So if any of you want to do research, please do research on the Mimamsa principles of Jaimini and the arguments and contrast it with Maxwell. You will get not only get a PhD, but you will get real international acclaim. And the moment is right now. Even the government will be pleased. So, and this is our duty, because we have taken a totally different ideological path from Jawaharlal Nehru and company. So now, first of all, the Bharatiya concept of justice and dharma, the Nyaya and dharma, is based, as I said, on the principle that we consider duties almost as important as rights, and that the punishment will pay according to the society's view of it. What is the harsh punishment, what is the gentle punishment? Chanakya has in his Arthashastra given, for instance in Arthashastra, he says that defamation law should not carry imprisonment. I argued this in Supreme Court, but we had a timid judge called, I can tell you his name, but don't tell outside. Might be contempt of court, I might be dragged in like Karnan or whatever. But he's a very good judge. very learned. But he was timid. And and in one way I am happy that he was timid, because after I filed the case, that is unconstitutional to send me to jail for what I say. You can send me to jail for what I do, but you cannot send me to jail for what I say. You can punish me by fining. So there are many countries like America where they don't have criminal law of defamation. Britain, which gave us this present IPC, not CRPC in 1973 we redrafted the whole thing. But IPC was given in 1860 by the British. And they wanted to make sure that you don't criticize the British officials. And therefore they brought in this criminal law of defamation. Right? IPC section 499 and 500. So I argued that this is now international trend. In our own country, it puts, why I argued that no criminal defamation should be there, is because I said it is not just. Because it's not so much what you're punishing me for, but scaring the rest of the society from speaking out openly. I say something, and you put a criminal defamation, and then you have to take bail, and in the records it comes that you take bail, not on this small thing, but whether you're taken bail on murder case or not, on defamation case, in the international computer, it will be just that you are on bail, and they will treat you like a terrorist once that comes on the computer. So it then forces me to impose on me what is called the chilling effect. I don't want to speak because I will be hauled up in court on a criminal charge. Of course, in the beginning I was subjected to a lot of defamation cases. Tom Jetmalani filed 4 defamation cases. So many others filed defamation cases. But I studied law. I'm an economist, I'm not a lawyer. My wife is a lawyer. So a library became useful to me to read up. I said I can't pay these lawyers to defend me because it costs too much, so I will learn the law. So I first learned the defamation law. And I recommend everybody to learn the law, because that's the modern weaponry in a democracy. So I learned the law, and once I learned the law, I went and argued, and I won the cases. Judge Malani lost the first case, then he lost the second case, then he lost the third case. The fourth case he said, "Baap Baap, you are a horrible man. Why can't we be friends?" I said, I can start by filing defamation cases against you. You filed it anyway. I never filed a defamation case against anybody. It's a waste of time. But I have had large number of cases filed at me at one stage. But for the last 20 years, nobody has dared to file a defamation case against me, because the real defamation starts after I put them in the witness box. And then I started devising new ways. Because it's a question of, you see, it's unjust that for my views, I should be subjected to all this. So I tried to codify Justice Mishra, Deepak Mishra did not agree. But we'll challenge it again somewhere if another case comes. But I did get Justice Jeevan Reddy to make one amendment in the civil law of defamation. And that I got it from the United States. I mean, it is not an original idea of mine. What the United States, there was a case of New York Times versus the state of Alabama. The New York Times was propagating that civil rights must be given to black people, and that Alabama was preventing that. So the state of Alabama filed a defamation case, a criminal defamation case, plus a civil defamation case. and they lost. I mean, the New York Times lost in the lower High Court level, and it went to the Supreme Court. And the Supreme Court said that if a law restricts reasonably your freedom of speech, then no problem. But if it imposes a chilling effect on the society, on the freedom of speech itself, then it's not okay. So, no criminal law. Second, it said as far as civil law is concerned, civil, that is damages. For damages, you cannot, a public figure that includes politicians, cinema stars, cricket players, these are all public figures. That you cannot allow public figures to file a defamation suit for damages unless the man who is filing it shows that the charges made by the accuser or the defendant is not true, is false, and also that when he made this charge, he knew it was false and still made it. That is called reckless disregard of the law. Now, who can prove that? See, tomorrow Sonia Gandhi files a case against me, then she will have to prove that she did not swallow up national health. How she can prove that? If I say that she was a KGB agent, then she will have to prove that she was not a KGB agent. If I say that she's got a false passport, another passport, Italian passport, yeah. So that proving part is very difficult. And she has to show that it was not an honest mistake on my part. That I relied on some newspaper or something. I shall show that I knew that this was not correct and still I should do it. So now in America it's impossible to win a defamation case. Once Mrs. Sonia Gandhi did file a case in America against my associates because we said that she never passed, she never studied beyond 5th class, but she claimed that she had got a degree from the University of Cambridge. Later on she admitted it was a printing mistake. So I said, how can it be a printing mistake? Because she had written an affidavit for the elections, studied in the University of Cambridge and got a degree in English. A printing mistake can be one comma, one full stop, an alphabet, but this whole thing. So I sent a letter to the Guinness Book of World Record, longest printing mistake. So she filed in America, thinking that I can't go there. But I went, and this is the principle I went. I said she has to prove. The day the court agreed, yes, she has to prove first that this is false, and we knew it was false, she would do the case. Otherwise she was asking for 500 crores. Nothing for us, but for her, but for us, it was a big thing. So, I'm saying that this law goes on evolving. There is no hard and fast rule what is justice, what is not justice. There is no hard and fast. So how do you defend? Now, I think first and foremost your duty as a lawyer is to see that your parents, your brothers and sisters, your neighbors are advised legally free of charge. Because these are the people who are closest to you and strongest. If they are strong, you will also be stronger. If they are weak, if every day your wife is weeping, you know, what is this, it comes in the newspaper, that you are this and that, then, so you have to have a strong wife also. So if you want to fight, if you don't want to fight, then it's a different matter. But if you want to fight for society, people closest to you should be there, and they should also understand the law. They should also know that you stand for them. Shouldn't be selfish in just going chasing fees and making money. But to stand up, Gandhi ji is the only one who has written about the duties of a lawyer. He said, supposing there is a moral dilemma, somebody comes to you for protection, for defense, and you ask him, are you guilty? And he says, yes, I am guilty, but I did it because of this circumstance. Now you have to defend him. You can't say he's guilty, then you are violating your code as a lawyer. So Gandhi tells the rules by which you can ask for a lower punishment, you can ask for an understanding of the circumstances and so on. So that's where dharma comes in. Dharma is your duty. Duty is to see that the society does not weaken by your activities as a lawyer. It is strengthened. And that you do not tell lies to get the case. You don't forge certificates, affidavits. So this truthfulness is something which in the long run it will give you reputation. Most of the top lawyers I know, top lawyers mean respected lawyers, say Pali Nariman, is highly respected. Because a man will never tell a lie. And he is a man who studies the cases and arguments. There are senior lawyers who are liars, cheats, but that is in any profession. But those who shine, who remember, people remember Sirwai, because he was such an honest, transparent man who did so much studying in the Constitution. So great lawyers become great citizens. And so this profession you are doing is very, very important. Now, I think therefore you should develop an armory on how to fight cases. Even if you are not a lawyer, you can fight. Even if you are not a lawyer, you can appear for somebody. Contrary to what people think, that you have to have a LLB and register in the bar and all that. I once appeared for Asaram Babu to get bail because I felt that the man is 78 years old and the case looked very fishy, and I thought he should come out on bail. I'm not talking about innocence, but on bail he can come out. How did I do it? I went and filed an application before the Sessions Court under Section 32 of the Advocates Act. How many of you know Section 32, the Advocates Act? Nobody will know this. That says any citizen can argue for somebody else if the court agrees to hear it. Now that poor session judge didn't know I was not even a lawyer, because everybody thinks I am a lawyer. Tomorrow I might start practicing medicine also. Surgery. Let Kejriwal come to me. So, and I got the permission. In the Supreme Court, there is a rule that petitioner persons have to take an examination administered by the registrar to be able to argue a case. I am being exempt. Because the judges say, you know law than us. I mean, that will be complimentary, it's not true. But therefore, I am saying law can be learned by ordinary citizens. You should encourage. If you become a lawyer and your wife is not a lawyer, encourage her. In my case, it happened the opposite way. My wife encouraged me to learn law. And once you learn law, what you want to learn? You want to do public service. There is a case of corruption. You have the following three alternatives. Alternative number one, write a complaint to a police station. If it is a public person, you can write to CBI under the Prevention of Corruption Act. saying it is come to my knowledge the following criminal acts have been committed. Then it is the job of the CBI or police or whatever to register an FIR and conduct an investigation. So this is one approach to set the law into motion. That you can do under section 156 of the CRPC. Now, if you want to pursue it yourself, then you go under section 190 of the CRPC and file a private complaint. And the magistrate will hear the matter, examine you. This is what happened in National Herald. I don't know how many people know the details of the National Herald case, but it's a very interesting case. It's an open shut case. Once I get under section 245, all the documents I want, that's the end. Sonia Gandhi, Rahul Gandhi, Motilal Gora, Oscar Fernandez, Sam Pachoda, then Dubey, all go to jail. Chidambaram, Karti Chidambaram, Mrs. Chidambaram, all will also go to jail. Very soon, Congress Working Committee will meet in Tihar jail. I can assure you. Now, what did I do in National Herald? I went and presented before a magistrate that this has come to my knowledge and I want this complaint to be either investigated by police or the magistrate herself conduct the examination and issue summons to the accused. My case was simple. National Herald company owning National Herald was called Associated Journals Limited. It was not founded by Jawaharlal Nehru as they are now doing propaganda. It was founded by 11 people of the freedom movement, which included non-Congress people also like Acharya and Ravindranath Dev, and at that time Rafi Ahmad Khudrai, etc. So these 11 people bought shares of 10 rupees each. Jawaharlal Nehru bought only one share of 10 rupees. And they formed this company, private limited company. Decided to publish a newspaper. During the freedom movement, everybody bought it. And then when the freedom came and Jawaharlal Nehru became Prime Minister, he began giving concessions, concessional loans, this property in Babu Shah Safar Marg, all this, and this became like an empire. Lucknow, Panchkula, Hindupur, Bhopal, Bandra, Patna, all places they got properties to open branches. They did not open any branches except in Lucknow. And then one day they announced, the Associated Journals Limited, that we cannot run this paper anymore, we are closing it down because we have taken loans from Congress party of 90 crores over several years and we can't pay it back. That's how the story starts. As soon as that happens, in 2008, Ms. Sonia Gandhi, Rahul Gandhi, Motilal Gora, etc., etc., they form a private limited company called Young India. What is this paid up capital? Only 5 lakh rupees. And who owns the shares? 81% is owned by Sonia Gandhi and Rahul Gandhi. And the rest are owned this 10%, 5%. And they are all become directors. Now, it is decided in this meeting of this company has just been formed, and immediately in the first meeting they decide that Motilal Gora, director of Young India, should go to speak to the treasurer of treasurer of Congress Party, that since Associated Journals cannot pay the loan, you will not be able to recover it. So you lost that money. So we will give you 50 lakh rupees and you transfer the